In the movie, the coming year of 2008, the Earth's environment will be severely damaged, and the air will be filled with a large amount of toxic gases. Even if he goes out, he will wear a gas mask. But it still causes irreversible damage to the body, therefore reducing the average lifespan of humans by 30 years. And most species are also on the brink of extinction. This is a company called Johnson Technology, which has invented a drug that can neutralize air toxins, becoming a world-leading company in just half a year. Anna is the spokesperson model for this drug. She was originally a glamorous goddess, but she chose to find an addict boyfriend who often took her money, buying a large amount of drugs in the gang. But on this day, he accidentally discovered that the other party seemed to have hidden something better. Just a small drop seemed to be enough to make one lust to death. So, driven by curiosity, he secretly took a tube of blue potion. Not only did she invite many friends to her house for a party, but she also hid in the bathroom with Anna and her best friend behind her back, ready to enjoy herself. Unexpectedly, Anna caught her red-handed. The three of them had a big argument because of this. However, due to being too anxious, her boyfriend forgot about the blue potion on the ground when you left, and it just so happened that an angry Anna saw it. In order to get back at her boyfriend, she didn't care whether it was poisonous or not. In a second, my body would burst into a strong feeling of dryness and heat even as consciousness began to fade. So he held back the dizziness and quickly filled a jade basin with cold water, then took off his clothes and jumped in, barely managing to suppress the bizarre heat. On the other hand, his boyfriend also noticed the loss of the drug. But when he returned, he saw the gang who had already found him, so he immediately rushed towards the bathroom but couldn't find any sign of the drug. However, no matter how much the boyfriend tried to explain, the gang clearly didn't believe it. As expected, he was beaten up badly. But what none of them anticipated was that at this critical moment, he grabbed the gang's gun from their hand, but two fists can't beat four hands. Under the cover of the loud noise in the living room, a fierce struggle was taking place in the bathroom, where one slip accidentally hit the boyfriend's thigh. The gang intended to take advantage of the opportunity to question about the drug's location, but instead, the boyfriend fainted. They didn't want anyone to get hurt, so they first helped bandage the wound and went downstairs to look for Anna. It wasn't long before the boyfriend woke up from his coma and saw Anna hiding on the ceiling. Despite not knowing what happened, he vaguely felt that something had changed with his girlfriend. She discovered that the door to the bathroom was tightly locked. Angrily, Anna's punch actually broke through the door panel, leaving both of them stunned. They had no time to think further, they just wanted to escape as soon as possible. Unbeknownst to them, the gang blocked the stairs. With no choice, the boyfriend finished speaking, cracks appeared on the bulletproof glass. Obviously, he underestimated Anna's current strength. Just like that, the two of them fled along the roof. However, the huge commotion inside also alerted the gang's attention, and they quickly caught up. At this moment, the boyfriend suddenly slipped and fell directly from the 3-meter-high roof. Worse
also came there.
No choice, Anna could only grit her teeth and jump down, but she never expected to land unscathed. However, her boyfriend was already out of breath, and Anna didn't have time to get up in sadness, continuing to flee outside. In her panic, she casually stopped a car and then passed out directly. Fortunately, the passerby didn't stand by. The car made Anna back to the car, and then immediately drove away. However, by the next day, the unconscious Anna was still not fully awake, looking at the beauty on the sofa. The passerby suddenly had evil thoughts. But just as he was about to succeed, Anna, sensing something unusual, woke up in time, which prevented a tragedy from happening. Then she panicked and went to the bathroom, where she found many strange scabs on her arms. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't wash it off. What's even more terrifying is that as soon as Anna makes a move, a sharp bone spur will stick out of her elbow. Faced with the strange changes in his body, he couldn't accept it no matter what, so he planned to go to the hospital to check his health condition, but there were just too many breathing patients in the hospital. The doctor couldn't keep up, so Anna had no choice but to forcibly pull it into the corner. Unexpectedly, the moment she took off her mask, she scared the doctor to death. I thought Anna had a fatal disease. Anna doesn't want to be isolated like a monster, so she runs for her life. Because she's unfamiliar with the terrain, she bumps around like an aimless fly. But unlucky for her, she ended up in a dead end. At the last moment, white fur suddenly grew on his palm and he climbed onto the wall. Black on the bedside was stunned by what he saw. Fortunately, they didn't reveal Anna's position, so she narrowly escaped. After leaving the hospital, with few friends left, Anna found herself turning back to the friend who betrayed her. Soon enough, she discovered that her body had changed even more oddly. Not only did the skin on her neck start to rot, but her nails were also gradually falling off. A series of bizarre events made Anna extremely anxious. Her friend kept pressing her for answers, causing Anna's emotions to completely lose control. She broke out into a hysterical argument with him. But the online and the mysterious person said he knew about her current situation. If she agreed to meet him to discuss further, he could help her return to normal. Desperate, Anna didn't think much and immediately agreed. However, they arranged to meet at a place with many people, thinking it would protect their safety. To her surprise, he actually did it right in front of passers-by, forced Anna to faint and take her away. All of this was seen by her best friend not far away. She immediately pinpointed Anna's phone, then without hesitation, she drove up and just happened to see her parked in a dilapidated room. Her best friend knew she wasn't a match for her, so she immediately called the police. After an unknown amount of time, Anna woke up from her coma. But his hands were tightly tied, and no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't break free. At this moment, he suddenly gave up resisting. As Anna's expression changed, a thorn grew on her wrist in the next second, as she successfully untied the tie. A strong sense of hunger instantly came over her. He grabbed the raw meat on the table and started eating it in big bites. Unexpectedly, at this moment, she hurriedly explained that the purpose of their research was to alter human genes and completely escape the torment of toxins in the air. But doing so cut off Johnson Tech's source of income, and they had no choice but to join the mafia for secret research. But Anna didn't believe it at all. Even when the two sides were confronting each other, a large number of police officers rushed to the critical moment with guns, while I stayed behind to continue persuading Anna. Unexpectedly, the police broke into the door directly. But unexpectedly, Anna was not saved, but instead arrested for intentional homicide. It turns out that the police blamed Anna for her boyfriend's death, and just like that, both of them were escorted back to the police station. The girlfriend who rushed over was also confused at this moment, but she didn't dare to step forward to help. She could only watch as Anna was taken away. When she returned to the police station, her body was still changing, and her human ears held out. It was a wriggling beast fate. Anna was at a loss for a moment and could only put on a hat to hide her fear. At this moment, a man walked into the cell, and he was Eddie, the general manager of Chongqing Technology. As a top-tier model of the company, he had the right to come and find out the truth. But after seeing Anna's appearance, Eddie not only did not feel scared, but instead immediately spent a lot of money to bail her out and quickly brought Anna back to the experimental base. Under Eddie's persuasion, Anna lay down obediently and underwent the examination. Little did she know that it was his decision that would soon bring him great trouble. Following a series of sampling tests, Eddie also learned the shocking truth. They found that Anna's body's gene sequence has completely deviated from the human range. To be precise, it's more like a complex of multiple animals, which has given Eddie a huge business opportunity. So he immediately came to Mark and tortured him, trying to get Mark's research results because Eddie had absolute confidence. Combined with Johnson's current technological level, it will soon be possible to develop even more powerful mutant potions. However, no matter how hard he tried, Mark remained tight-lipped. Seeing that this move wouldn't work, he then came up with Anna's idea. While Anna had just woken up and her mind wasn't fully awake, Eddie took out the test results and told her that there was a genetic mutation in her body. A neutralizing enzyme is being produced all the time, which can counteract toxins in the air, which means Anna will no longer be unaffected, and she lied that she could restore it to its original state, but the prerequisite was to cooperate with all subsequent treatments. Anna didn't think much about it and just signed the contract without hesitation. However, when she woke up again, I actually found myself locked on the test bench. At this moment, Eddie is reporting to the chairman. It turns out he was preparing to extract a large amount of Anna's serum for experimental research on new drugs. I believe that with Johnson Technology's advanced equipment, it will soon be able to replicate in large quantities. When the time comes, selling it at a high price to the wealthy will definitely be more profitable than the current era. However, what Eddie doesn't know is that Anna's hearing has become exceptionally sharp under the enhancement of the potion, despite the soundproofing glass in the middle. But all the conversations outside were heard clearly. Anna was immediately furious when she found out she was being used as a tool to make money. But now she has become a lamb to be slaughtered, and can only be controlled by Eddie at will. The moment when all her utilitarian value is drained, it's also Anna's time to die. Soon, under the effect of a large amount of sedatives, Anna couldn't hold on and passed out again. Medi immediately ordered people to prepare to extract the serum. Soon, 2 men arrived at the lab. They knew how terrifying Anna was, so they didn't dare to stay alone for a moment and hurriedly prepared to inject a sufficient dose of anesthesia. However, they never expected that Anna had already woken up. Under the continuous enhancement of the potion, his body has already become incredibly powerful. Ordinary people are simply no match for him. Anna effortlessly dealt with the two of them quickly. After pressing for Mark's whereabouts, she successfully opened the anus with the staff's fingerprints. Then, Anna followed the wall's instructions and ran non-stop towards the area. Not long after, he successfully found the cell where Mark was being held, but at that moment, the patrolling security personnel rushed over. However, when he got closer, he only saw the clothes on the ground. He had just picked up the clothes to check, and suddenly felt a blooming chrysanthemum The security guard was preparing to draw his gun and resist, but she obviously underestimated Anna's terror. Relying solely on her physical strength, she easily paralyzed him completely. In this way, Anna used the security guard's fingerprints to successfully unlock the room's door, while Mark had already been so shocked that he opened his mouth and moaned. Forgetting the answer they sought, the two temporarily stood united and quickly fled towards the outside. On the other hand, Eddie had already noticed something in this and dispatched a large number of security guards to conduct a comprehensive search of the experimental base, determined to block Anna's escape route. But what he never expected was, 2 hours and 30 minutes earlier, when Mark's friend who had taken the drug ahead of time ran away, he disguised himself as a driver and secretly infiltrated the base. Not only did he install a timed bomb in the underground garage, but he also managed to meet up with them through positioning. However, just at that moment, a wave of sedating smoke suddenly clearly an act by Eddie, planning to knock them out and leave them here. The three couldn't afford any delay and drove directly out of the underground garage. However, there were numerous security guards gathered outside the building, immediately opening fire on the car, but still failing to stop them. Thinking they finally succeeded in escaping, they didn't expect to barely make it past the last hurdle. The accident still happened. The security guard at the entrance shot with his gun and broke the tire, causing the car to instantly lose bound and made a 360-degree spin-off. Soon after, the security guard caught up. However, what they didn't expect was that only one friend remained on the scene. When they held their guns and came to the back of the car, Anna and Mark inside had already disappeared. Leaving the bald man holding his gun and dancing towards him, he quickly pretended to be severely injured and unconscious. As soon as the other party leaned forward to check, he immediately got up to fight back. On the other side, Anna and Mark managed to escape to a bridge, but Mark was out of energy. He knew this would eventually get him caught by Eddie. To not hold others back, he handed the last bottle of medicine to Anna and told her about an address. He asked her to leave and go there to find a person named Satan, who would help her. Anna hesitated little and jumped into the abyss with the medicine, leaving Mark alone on the bridge watching. Not long after, Eddie and his men chased up. Eddie knows he can no longer rely on Anna, but fortunately, there are still some gains to be made. Next, he must find a way to get the drug formula from Mike by any means necessary. At the end of the story, Anna has fully evolved into a half-human creature and successfully found Satan. A plan to save all humanity is about to begin. The film ends here. If you like it, and subscribe me. Till then, see you in the next video.